Hi everyone, welcome back to Final Fantasy XIII, and today we have a new guest.
Hi, my name is Blastinus. I do FELPs sometimes.
Hey, I like those.
Hey, wait a minute. So, you know what we've been missing so far in our Final Fantasy XIII experience?
I can't imagine.
We're missing a silver-haired pretty boy.
Oh yeah.
Well, we have... Well, no, Hope isn't a pretty boy.
No. Well, maybe we can get to remedying this.
Well, how about Snow? Well, actually, he's more blonde.
Now there, that's the ticket.
Oh yeah, that is silver. That is very silver.
Oh, look how he just hands off that Bluetooth headset.
If we fail,
It's that guy's job to make sure that headset comes to no harm.
He did a little soliloquy. Is he a bad guy, or perhaps secretly a good guy?
Who can say? I'm gonna need to hear him talk a lot more before we can make a decision on that.
We can make it. Get to the station and board the train for Eden.
You think it's still running?
Why would it still be
If it
running?
isn't, we'll make it run.
You know,
Then
city's
come
in a
straight into the heart of
military
the sanctum.
lockdown, why wouldn't the train be going?
Now you're thinking like a pulseless sea.
Well, this is Operation Nora. It's not just snow on the The Sanctum's gotta pay too.
Ah, yes, the whole irony of Nora.
Hey, you're the one who said we had to fight.
See, the joke is that his mother's name is Nora, and that's also the name of Slow's resistance group that got his mother killed, and oh my god, it's just too
No one
funny.
uses the
I
entrance
can't
anymore,
stop laughing.
so
Yes,
even
I
the army
can.
doesn't know about it. But I
The
know where it
irony
is.
is
It can
truly
sneak in under
palpable.
their noses.
So, Hope
Sounds
is
good.
going to pretend to be useful here
Here we
and
go.
tell us about a way in that we can avoid the patrols.
It seems plausible enough.
That's believable. Except he's going to lead us right into a sewer level, because that's the one thing we needed after the Sunlit Waterscape.
And I'm guessing that even the stealthy route is still going to involve fight
No
scenes.
more rivalries now.
Stealthy route.
Psychom's blood in the Guardian.
There's an old drainage pipe.
Oh,
We
good,
can
good
use
one.
it to avoid being seen.
You think this game has stealth mechanics?
That is
The
the...
tunnel entrance is a little further up.
Yeah, that actually is a pretty old drainage pipe. Funny, you'd think with it being in the middle of the city, they'd keep it in better repair.
Well, I'm glad that we're getting all this Crystal Tools graphical power used on sewer pipes.
Alright, so in today's Crystarium Trip, the main prize is Smite for Lightning.
God, I love Smite.
Yes, this is the follow-up to Launch, and the way it works is that if an enemy is staggered and airborne, right before the stagger runs out, they will do an attack that basically slams them to the ground really hard, and it does a lot of damage. Like, it does like double a typical attack.
Maybe even triple. And this is a typical attack run through the stagger multiplier.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, that you've already built up a bit of a stagger at this point, so it's going to really hurt.
Yeah, Smite is one of the earliest ways to get a big line full of the number 9.
Ah,
And this is Final Fantasy XIII, so you can get even more 9s than you could before. And you don't even need a bullshit ability like you did in previous Final Fantasy games.
That's right, straight off the bat, you can get 5 9s. That's a lot of 9s.
well, when you consider HP inflation, it's not quite as cool.
What do you mean it's not quite as cool? There's a whole other 9. That's like that's like a 25% increase in 9s.
Yeah, but when you've got enemies with, like, millions or whatever, then it's not quite as impressive. Actually, forget millions. Like, aren't there enemies with tens of millions?
I think you're losing sight of what's important.
So, more soldiers. That's what's important.
Yes, we have the shooty guys. The core Tranquifex.
What a name.
Oh, does that mean that they shoot you with elephant tranquilizers?
No, it means they shoot you with bullets, it's just that that's somehow supposed to be peaceful. Because they're the Guardian Corps, they guard people, they're peaceful, they don't kill people. They just shoot them a little.
Considering Hope's accessory, they might as well be shooting BBs.
Yeah, that's you can really see the whole physical wall thing come into play against these guys. Hope very typically will take like no damage from them attacking him.
Yeah, I think we said before, physical war comes in much handier in these early bits than it will be later.
It's very fortunate that these guards just decided to fight you instead of running off to raise the alarm. That sure will be handy.
But you know what counts though, is that they are walking in a patrol route that you can sneak around. Because stealth mechanics, honest. Yep, and here's the promised sewer pipe.
It sure is a dingy sewer pipe. These sewers have got to look really butt ugly.
Yeah, and it's not. I'm not going to try and rationalize its inclusion in a level design. Trying to rationalize anything in this game goes poorly for me.
Hey, this game is already just a set of pipes.
Oh yeah. Well, maybe it's symbolic then. Oh well, here's a new guy.
So why are these guys weak to electricity anyway?
Because they cast water.
Duh.
Come on, get with the program, Blast.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, the Tranquifex will use N water, and the Pontifex, or whatever the fuck those guys are
Passifex.
called.
Passifex.
Passifex, that's the word. Yeah, I don't think they were popes. But, yeah, the Passifex guys will cast the Watera Man and Drive.
Oh hey, that guy dropped a credit chip. You gonna talk about that at all?
They sell for money. There, we're done.
It's like the classes of crafting shit is the shit that gives you experience, the shit that gives you multiplier, and the shit that you sell for money so you can buy shit that gives you experience.
It's very nice because otherwise you're probably dead broke for most of the game. Like, I remember, like, being constantly strapped for cash.
Yeah, this is a game that keeps a very tight lid on your money situation. It's not like pretty much every other JRPG where you just walk around with hundreds of millions of whatever the arbitrary currency unit of the game is, and nothing is ever a problem. And, like, a very big component of the, quote, post-game, unquote, is a goddamn endless money grind.
There are ways around it that we will be making liberal use of, but that's a ways down the road.
Ways is indeed one word for it.
So, you actually can continue up there, but I got caught up on that little tiny piece of geometry, and now it's like, well, it's not going to let me go this way, so I have to go explore this other highly interesting sewer tunnel.
Well, some animator spent tens of thousands of hours working on that pipe. They're gonna make you see it. I mean, what if you just walked past it? That animator would have worked for nothing.
I can't help but contemplate the effectiveness of sewer pipes with these big holes in them.
Watch my back.
Like, those lower streets ought to be just flooded all the time.
Yeah, maybe this fantasy world isn't all it's cracked up to be.
Gotta wonder. Like, that highway, that was a very picturesque highway.
Oh well. In case you were having too much fun, here is a new Velacycle enemy.
Yep, they have the usual bullshit where they have all incoming damage, and this one has a particularly fun ability called Gatling Gun. You will get one guess as to what it does.
I'm gonna guess it heals itself?
Yes, that's it. That's the ticket.
How did you guess?
So, Gatling Gun, which we will see very shortly as it's charging up right now, it is pretty much a straight-up fuck you button. There is a way to deal with it, but we don't have access, and, yeah, you can see how quickly Hope died and how many more attacks followed it.
And he had physical wall as well.
Yeah, so yeah, and then add an additional 10 damage to every single one of those hits.
I remember actually, like, playing this portion that... maybe I'm mistaken, but is it possible to get your characters both kind of lined up with one another when that thing goes off?
I don't think so, but... I mean, I guess it could if if they happen to just line up. But
Well, more importantly, though, he might just decide to attack your party leader. In which case, have fun with your instant game over.
yeah, if he targets lightning with Gatling gun, you are 100% fucked, and there is absolutely nothing you can do.
Couldn't you summon in order to reset everything?
I don't know if summoning actually stops the attack.
At the very least, you might... I don't know exactly how the deep inner mechanics of the targeting system work, but it's possible that if you summon, it might hit the summon instead of lightning. Or if you go straight into Gestalt mode, aren't you, like, basically invincible?
Yeah, if you go into Gestalt mode, you are invincible, so I guess technically you could do that, but yeah. 99% of the time, you are 100% fucked if they decide to target lightning.
Dang, that's like 99.9% of the time.
Also, welcome to the sewers.
I think we made it past all the
Yep.
guards.
Definitely looks like a sewer.
Well, there's water, there's, pipes.
Well, the best part of it is that as well as
Don't
being a
worry,
sewer,
it'll be
it's
fine.
also a floating
Only
platform
kids like me
maze.
know about that entrance.
They'll find
Because,
it.
that's a good way to
They'll
endear
call in a
yourself to
team and
gamers.
canvass the whole tunnel
Yes,
system.
maze. That's
better
a
hurry.
word for it.
So, where's this thing come out anyway?
Well,
Oh, it's a maze,
I don't really know for sure.
by Final
We'll find
Fantasy
out
XIII
today.
standards.
This is the trippiest sewer I've ever seen, to be honest. And I've seen a lot of sewers.
Yeah, especially if you're an RPG veteran,
Learning about this in school.
you'll have gotten very familiar with sewers.
So you might notice our big glowing friend there in the middle of the screen. We'll actually get to see him up close and personal in a little bit.
Oh, that'll be cool. I bet it'll be really interesting.
I mean, you could theoretically say that these floating platforms are for maintenance? I don't know.
Yeah, with their glass floors, and absolutely nothing in between the top of the platform and the bottom, but there's glass there anyway. It's very functional. Very Spartan aesthetic.
Also, I have no idea what's the deal with those W blocks that are right next to the switch there.
Again, aesthetics. You've no appreciation, man.
Of course, aesthetics. Like, I mean, we were walking through these really dingy pipes before, and now we're suddenly in this giant futuristic hub area.
We are in the most beautiful sewer that the mankind has ever known. And that's about all the good that you can say about it.
Also, I like how lightning is casting a shadow onto glass. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, now that you point it out, I can't unsee it.
And more importantly, she's not casting a shadow onto the stuff under the glass. But oh well, shadows are kind of really hard to do in video games. So we can give them a pass for that.
This is what it looks like down here.
So these guys are fun enemies.
Everyone loves Flanders.
Yep. The Flanders are... it's a flan janitor. Imagine that.
God, I love portmanteaus.
Well, are you gonna expect humans to be walking around in poo all day?
I suppose. So yeah, that's the major thing they do. They cast Rescue. And they frequently cast it on each other, which makes them a royal pain in the ass.
It's basically like an area heal. So when they both use it at once, it becomes massively more effective.
Basically, you really, really want to target one of them and kill them as quickly as possible, because if there are multiple Flanders, you will just never get anything done.
So basically you have to do the exact same thing that you do to more or less every other enemy in this game, only you have to do it really specifically, somehow. No, it's the same thing.
Really, I never found the healing thing to be especially obnoxious. Like, it's just a stagger game anyway.
Now, you get enough stagger on them, the healing doesn't heal their stagger. So eventually you just get to the point where you literally out-damage the healing. And it's just a function of the game, only it somehow doesn't make it seem like that's what you're doing, but that's what you're doing anyway.
Hey, these guys already palette swapped from their obnoxious hour-long version.
Yeah, fortunately, this is the 2-minute version instead of the 4-minute version.
It's still pretty obnoxious, though.
Yeah. So Lucidons, yeah, that's what they do. They cast Photon Burst. It will go up, it will hit whoever it hits will get knocked on their ass for a second. It'll do a 300 to 400 damage, and then that is all it does.
So basically, they took an enemy whose mere existence serves the purpose of wasting your time, and then they gave it an attack that wastes your time.
Oh yeah, knock-up in this game is never fun.
Thankfully, Hope is quite adept at blocking the floor.
Oh yes, he's had a lot of practice.
Yeah, so yeah, it's just a shorter version of the old Scale Beast fight. But it's still a pain because his stagger builds up really slowly and he doesn't take any damn damage until he actually gets staggered. And you have to stop damaging him to heal your guys, and it's a massive pain.
And this is before we even get to the point where you don't have a Saboteur or anything to speed it up.
Artix, please promise me we're going to start cutting some of these videos out in the middle of the fight, when it's plainly evident that nothing interesting is going to happen.
Well, we still have to take its shell off, right?
No.
No as in we don't have to take its shell off, or no as in we're not going to cut the videos?
I think you already know the answer to that question.
Well, at least with lightning, you can have the joy of juggling this thing after it's been annoying you for several minutes. Or at least that's how it went for me. I was never very good at staggering.
I think it's supposed to be cathartic, but it's not cathartic enough, and yes, Lightning, it is just another battle, that's all any of this is.
I mean, you were going fairly fast, I guess, and you still only got 3 stars.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what they want out of you to get 5 stars on that fight, because you literally can't do damage at fast enough in such a way that someone doesn't die, so...
Names.
Wrap your mind around that for a second there. The production fallacy
That's one of our
is in the sewers.
Sanctum and all.
So, what's the food being made out of?
Kill him.
Wait a
cut off
minute.
the food supply. That'll make us popular.
I think
And they-
people have enough reason to hate us, don't you?
So yeah, there's a bunch of, potentially
Yeah,
actual
You're
interesting
probably right.
shit here.
Hungry people make for angry people.
And they're not going to explore any of it, are they? They're just going to move on and keep whining about Operation Nora or some shit.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a shame. Like I said, this world, like the world of Final Fantasy XIII, is like legitimately interesting, but they will never go into any sort of explanation or explore it at all until Lightning returns. Maybe.
Yeah, that's like I think that was the first time in the whole 13 series that there were details to the world, and a bunch of the side quests had to do with giving you exposition on how people were dealing with the world that they were living in, and it was actually a little bit interesting. And God help me, I cared a little bit.
I've heard people justify it as a thing where, you're a bunch of criminals running from the law, you can't really stop to take a sightseeing tour, and
I mean, there is a little bit of truth to that, but still.
Yeah, it still doesn't... It's still a bad video game, and somebody has to account for why they made the choice to have that kind of plot.
And then, of course, people would just say, hey, read the data log if you want information. But, screw that.
But again, there is nothing wrong with the data log, in theory. It is a great... look at the Mass Effect Codex.
Yeah, that's an example of how to do this kind of thing in a good way. Although then if you have one of those, you have to deal with the rest of BioWare.
I'm all for it, adding to the narrative with flavor text and such, because that does make the world feel a little bit more alive, but on the other hand, sometimes I feel like playing through this game that they're kind of holding off on details because it's in the data log.
Oh, that's absolutely true of Final Fantasy XIII. But, like I said, the data log can be done well. It is not done well here.
Yeah, no, you want a game that has a data log and does it well. Final Fantasy XII. the bestiary in that game, you know, as well as doing the usual bestiary stuff, like, you know, telling you all the stats.
Using a sanctum file so you
But
can
it
tell
was also written as like an in-world document,
Not really.
and it kept to the game's
We relied
writing
on them our
style,
whole lives.
and it was interesting.
Food we eat,
Hope.
light, and
This
water.
we were just kind of
All from the Felsey.
boarding platforms whenever we didn't know where to go. The whole carbuncle thing in the middle wasn't helping us at all.
We're just leeches. Parasites.
So, Lightning is actually secretly a libertarian.
They protect us, nurture us.
Well, that explains a
Take
lot.
care of, well, normal people.
Well, she does seem to have the whole
They treat us
got
like
mine
we're special.
attitude, but
Almost like
I don't think that's what the writers were going for.
we're pets.
Is it time for an epiphany?
Like pets.
What if I told you?
To them, we are just pets.
Yeah. If it's we've been
it.
spending the whole game where they're just
You know, it
saying
makes
like,
sense.
okay, you're our underlings now, go off and do
I'm
things
so
for
glad.
us. Like, it's not like
I
the
was born into a Felsey world.
I don't
Raised
know.
on a Felsey leash. It was the only life I knew how to live.
Well, Lightning's world is
When it
being
was
shattered.
taken from me, I was completely lost.
Thanks for reminding us of all of this graphical stuff that
Without
happened,
master to
game.
follow, my life
Well, you know,
had no
creating new
purpose.
cutscenes takes effort.
Look, you didn't want to see Pulse
Listen to
again?
me.
Not
This Lassie curse.
really?
It took everything from me. My future. My dreams.
Now they're not even
I
recycling
didn't
CG
wanna
cutscenes.
So I fought instead.
And so why was the
As long as I was fighting.
so why was the
nothing else was
cutscene
real.
where they were branded in grayscale,
I
but this
was
one
running
was
away.
in just muted color?
And you.
Oh, probably the music colour thing is an engine effect
You
that they
got
can do
swept
on
along
something
with
that's being live rendered. But not to something that's in the CG. Maybe, I don't know.
Understand.
Also, nice knife cameo.
Operation
The
North
knife.
is over.
What?
I.
No! You told me to fight!
I made a mistake!
But... You can't do this. You can't just
Sorry, Hope.
put something up like that.
No Nora for you.
She can and she absolutely will.
I won't.
In fact,
abandon
she's
you.
going to abandon you in the very next video.
I won't.
Hell yeah. This plot is starting to look up.
Abandoning hope is just something that she does every other day. You know, it's kind of like a ritual for her at this point.
How am I supposed to just forget about all this?
I'd make an abandon hope joke at this point, but we already did that a couple chapters ago.
But seriously, consider how many times she's been like leaving the kid behind for various pretenses.
I wish he'd do it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do something like that, at least commit to it.
So what do we do now?
I'm glad that we had 30
let's
seconds
see.
of hallway
Taking a
separating
time
these two
bomb.
cutscenes.
Enemies of Cocoon.
Well, there was also a
We
fight
can't
scene.
follow the plan? Do we just lay down
Oh
and
yeah,
die?
the fight scene, that
I
was
didn't even check
interesting
it
and
out.
worthwhile.
Then what battles do we fight?
Oh yeah, 3
Then again,
Flanators.
two.
That must have been
Tell me
even
that.
more
I
padding.
don't know yet.
You don't know yet.
That's right.
The
I don't
writers
know
haven't
yet,
decided yet.
But I do know we can't lose hope.
I mean, I say that flippantly, but
There is no hope. Not for Lassie.
that's basically what
Lucy.
happened.
It's my name. Not who I am.
Oh wait, I see
I
what
was
she
just
did
like
there.
you.
Lightning, you should be ashamed of yourself for that one.
My parents died. I had to be strong for Sarah, so I thought I needed to forget my past. And I became Lightning. I
See,
thought that by
he's
changing
not
my
Hope
name,
and she's
I
not
could
Lightning.
change who I was.
I wonder when she decided the whole lightning thing was her
I was
name.
just
Like,
a
was it
kid.
when she was working for the Guardian Corps? Did her
Lightning.
coworkers kind of
It
have to
flashes
adjust to that for a while?
then fades away.
I don't think it's
It can't
ever really
protect.
directly stated,
only
but I
destroys.
think what happened was it was a few years. Like she was like 12, like 14 or 15 at the time, I think, when it happened. Don't quote me on that though. I'm
Sarah
sure there's a
tried to
data log
tell
out
me.
there that'll tell you exactly what it was and
But I wouldn't
something. I don't know.
I'm just picturing her going into work one day and saying, "Hi guys, my name's Lightning now."
Man, I wonder if the people of Cocoon have Tumblr,
If you really are LSE, it's my job.
because Lightning would be all over that.
Typical.
I threatened her.
Come on, Slowpoke.
Sorry. Got held up.
God
Where
damn it,
have you
Snow.
been?
I'm really late, huh?
How would she even know about this?
The only one who believed her was Snow.
Who cares?
Don't say his name.
Uh-oh.
It brings
Trigger
everything back.
warning. That's my
keep
trigger
playing it in
word,
my head.
Lightning.
What happened to her? And then I see his stupid face and
Oh no, don't worry, that
Smile.
happens to everyone.
how can he smile when she's dead? I know.
I mean, I don't think there's anyone
There's nothing I
alive
can
who
do about
doesn't
it.
become driven to violence by the sight of
No matter
Snow's
what
face.
happens, she's not coming back.
Okay, so if you're at peace with it, then why are you on a mission of
When I
vengeance?
was fighting, there was no time to think about it. It felt good just to give in. But now you start talking about hope.
Hi, I am literally describing the thing that Lightning just said she went through.
Final Fantasy XIII writing.
I'm sorry, I messed up.
Nah, we're all messed up, kid.
It's my fault.
No, it is not your fault, Lightning. It is... He is...
Oh, I thought that conversation was going to go on and we were going to resolve it. No? No.
No.
Nope, more Flanders. Bye, Flanders.
Alright, well, that's about it for this video. Palom Polum jumps around a lot, so next time we will actually be picking up with Snow.
Oh, goody.
I know, everybody's favorite. So, we will see you guys then.
See ya, nerds.
Laters.